You know that moment when a friend of yours is setting up a home salon and keeps scrolling through endless chair options, wondering if they're about to drop a few $100s on something that will end up looking like a prop instead of a workhorse? I've been there, watching people wrestle with the "do I need that vintage vibe or just a plain functional seat" dilemma, and I figured it might help to break down one of the more talked about choices out there before anyone makes a commitment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Pibbs 663 Master Vintage Barber chair lands in that sweet spot where classic styling meets modern adjustability. At first glance, the white finish and the curved back give it that old-school barbershop feel, the kind you see in movies where the barber leans back and the client relaxes. But beyond the looks, the real question is whether the chair actually holds up once the day-to-day grind starts, and whether the price point matches what you get for it. Let's talk about the kind of environment this chair is built for. If you're a freelance stylist or a barber who runs a small shop out of a spare room, you probably need something that's both eye-catching and easy to move around. The hydraulic base on the Pibbs 663 is a big part of that equation. Unlike the old-fashioned foot pump systems that can be finicky, hydraulic lifts let you raise or lower the seat with a smooth push of a lever. In practice, that means you can adjust the height on the fly for different clients without breaking a sweat or pulling a muscle. I've heard from a few people who set up a temporary station at events that the quick-release lever saves a lot of time when you're juggling tight appointment slots. Now, who should actually consider this chair? First, anyone who wants the visual punch of a vintage aesthetic without having to hunt down an authentic antique that might need costly restoration. The white upholstery, while bright, can be a nice canvas if you plan to add your own branding or color accents later on. Second, the chair works well for barbers who spend most of their day sitting and need that smooth height transition to stay ergonomic. If you're the type who likes to stand up for a quick break and then sit back down, the hydraulic action will feel natural. On the flip side, there are buyers who might want to think twice. If you run a high-traffic salon where chairs get swapped out every few minutes, you might be better off with a model that's specifically engineered for heavy commercial use. The Pibbs 663, while solid, carries a design language that leans more toward boutique or home-based setups. Also, the white finish, though stylish, can show scuffs and hair clippings more readily than darker fabrics. If you're not planning on keeping the space immaculate, that could become a maintenance headache. A simple wipe down will keep it looking decent, but you'll notice wear sooner than you would with a leather or dark vinyl option. A practical strength that often gets overlooked is the chair's footprint. Its dimensions are generous enough to provide a comfortable seating area, but it doesn't dominate the floor like some bulkier salon chairs. That makes it a good fit for tighter spaces where you still want to maintain that big shop vibe. I've seen it paired with a compact styling station and a rolling cart, and the whole setup feels cohesive rather than cramped. Assembly is another point worth mentioning. The chair arrives partially assembled, and while the instructions are fairly straightforward, you'll need at least one extra set of hands for the final tightening of the base. If you're comfortable with basic tools and don't mind spending an hour or so getting it upright, you'll be fine. However, if you're looking for a plug-and-play solution that you can just pop out of the box and start using, be prepared for a bit of a learning curve. When it comes to durability, the hydraulic mechanism is the heart of the chair. In the absence of detailed spec sheets, I looked at the rating trend. A 4.1-star average from over 300 reviewers suggests that most owners are satisfied, but there are enough lower scores to hint at occasional hiccups. A common theme in those few critical comments, without naming any specific reviews, is that the hydraulic lever can feel a bit stiff after months of use. That's not a deal-breaker for most, but if you're someone who values a featherlight lift every single time, it might be a small compromise. Let's address the price-to-value question directly. Compared to other vintage-styled chairs that either come fully upholstered in leather or are priced as high-end boutique pieces, the Pibbs 663 sits in a middle range. You're paying for a design that looks expensive, but you're not shelling out for the kind of industrial-grade hardware you'd find in a top-tier commercial chair. If your budget allows for a little extra and you care about aesthetics as much as functionality, the chair delivers a balanced mix. If you're